Hello everyone, thanks for dropping by. I've been advised to talk a bit quicker and keep these videos restricted to 10 minutes by a comment poster. I can't promise that, but I'll try and talk a bit quicker and not dawdle on things. So let's get started. I've been doing some digging around on the internet and I found this rather silly article from the University of Utah. I don't know what the University of Utah is like in America concerning MGTOW, but it sounds like a load of bullshit if you read through it. Of course, I'll put all the links down below. But anyway, this apparently is a trend in marriage from the 1970s to 2015. As you can see, white guys are starting to see the light. The MGTOW started around 2000 and apart from a little bump in 2015, it's been slowly going down. Hispanic guys, they notice up and down, and they've been seeing what their white American brethren have been doing, and apart from a relapse, probably from family pressure, they could be going down again. But this is the interesting one. Black African Americans, they are just not interested in marriage at all. In fact, they're down to 28%. Now this gives a broad picture that marriage is better, and it's linked to a PDF file. So let's have a look at that. It's a load of tosh, as we say over here. Never married versus married. That doesn't include the money which married men have to spend on mortgages, etc., whereas single guys, their money is their own. And divorced men, they have probably been stung for finances. This I'll get to on another video when I think of what to say. But apparently married men have a better sex life than unmarried men, and cohabiting men have a better sex life than unmarried men. Marriage, as you know, in America has been dropping for quite a considerable time, especially in the 18 to 24 year olds, as a lot of the MGTOW channels have been commenting on. This is a MGTOW channel and they've just commented on that article I've just showed you. It's all very well. If marriage is so bad, it's not reflecting yet in the trends, as I found this earlier today. As you can see, it's dated April 10th, 2017. The marriage industry is big. As you can see on the screen, 2.3 million Americans are wed every year in the US. That's 6,200 weddings per day in America. The average age of the bride is 25 years old. Maybe. How many of those have seen the wall coming and they decided to get hitched before it hits them in the face? The average age of the groom is 26.9 years, say 27 years old. He's just starting to get into his financial stride, which is probably why she wants to get him up the aisle so she can latch onto his resources. Number of guests is 178. I don't even know 178 people, so I could never invite that many to a wedding if I ever wanted to, which I don't. And a third of those getting married here have been married before, i.e. the gluttons for punishment. They didn't learn the lesson first time. But this one made my eyes open. The wedding industry globally is a $300 billion a year industry. In America alone, as you can see, it's $72 billion per year. That's how much it generates. And each wedding costs $20,000 per annum average. Just imagine what you could do with that kind of money instead of spending it on a wedding, which is her show, not yours. Plus $1,016 cost of wedding rings. Where are they getting them from? Tiffany's? As I started this little series of videos off, Tiffany's profits. Tiffany's profits are going down. Could be because of MGTOW. Maybe, maybe not. You have to. The bride and the groom, 30%. Well, if she's up to her ears in debt beyond in college, then she's not going to be forking out that. He'll probably have to fork out that, or she'll go to the bank of mummy and daddy. And $19 billion a year are spent on wedding gifts in America. $8 billion is spent on the honeymoon. And the average honeymoon is spent $3,657. Now, as big that picture is black guys, I found something else that's of interest. Going back to the original, whoops, wrong one, Christopher. Going back to this, black guys are not interested in marriage, and they've seen the light, as after all, remember, it was in the black African American community that MGTOW first started in America, and sort of black guys were trailblazers for it. Anyway. There we go. I found this. Marrying your peer tougher for black women. This is an interesting article. It says, more than ever, people of higher education and income entitlement are choosing to marry each other, i.e. university graduates, instead of selecting males from different educational backgrounds. Well, here's black men, here's black women. Remember the 18-20 rule? 80% of women after the top 20% of men. Well, here's the top 20% of black men. You can add another 4% because a lot of black guys, even though they've not gone to university, are street smart, switched on, and they know what's going on, and they're not deadbeat ghetto dwellers that listen to rap all the time. Black guys are not going to go with black women from university because black guys have seen what self-entitled bitches black women can be. On YouTube you see gang fights in Los Angeles coming out of clubs, and it's always black women which are the cause of it. That kid that got shot outside the nightclub in Los Angeles quite a while ago, that was the cause of that was black women. But anyway, these guys are not going to go with these women. These women want to go with them, but these guys know what's going on with these women. That leaves these guys, but these women don't want to go with these guys. But all these women want to go with these guys, but these guys, they don't want to marry down. They would rather keep the money because they know these guys know that these women, should these women tire of them, will grab half of what these guys have worked so hard for. This here, white men and white women. As you know, university, college in America is becoming a predominantly female area, so the percentage of this is going up, and the percentage of this is going down. Once again, the 1820 rule. But these guys have seen what these guys have been doing, and they also decide that we're not having any part of it. So this article, even without a college degree, there are more black men who earn salaries of over $100,000 per year than black women who earn such salaries. Well, black men are not going to let black women get their hands on $100,000 a year, because black men have seen what kind of women black women are like. It says, where is it now? "48% of white women report having husbands with lower levels of education attainment, with nearly 6% of black women have married someone with less education under their belt. That disparity could result in a household that earns $25,000 less per year, according to Brookings. Well, as you know, women cannot marry downwards. Women must marry upwards, which means the 1820 rule still carries on, which is why this article is rather silly, as it says, more than ever, people of higher education income attainment are choosing to marry each other. Well, they're not, because the guys which are highly educated, they want to continue their career and they don't want the millstone of a woman around their neck, so they're going MGTOW, even though this article doesn't mention MGTOW at all. Speaking of the marriage industry, as I originally started, is MGTOW having an effect? Well, looking around, I found this. This is based here in Britain. That's, if you go on Google Earth, that is the area of South Sheffield in the Yorkshire, the other side of the Pennines, and it's an industrial estate. It's apparently gone bust, and all these dresses are for sale. Wedding dresses, as you know, are only worn once. So who's going to be wearing all these? It's come in, try it and buy. All that work for nothing. Once again, if MGTOW is having an effect on the marriage industry, with 18 to 24-year-olds not tying the knot, then we're going to see a lot more things like that as the wedding industry contracts, and worldwide it's a $300 billion a year in industry. That means in America alone, $72 billion per year as not going into the government revenues. That means the American government will start to raise taxes to cover that, as importing foreigners from the third world will not but bridge that gap, because they're mostly consumers of government social programs and not contributing to the American economy at all. I read that married men contribute about $2 trillion to the American economy. Well, that will soon drop if the Americans continue to not get married. It will probably take a couple of generations, but as it is, there's the guy that's going to be led to the slaughter, and he's happy because he knows what's going to happen to him. He just says there, "But for the grace of God go I." Those two guys are looking pensive. Those two guys have probably been burnt, and this guy is saying to him, "Good lad," but really he's thinking, "Sucker." Anyway, I've noticed on the YouTube channels mentioned about the automation of the workforce. As you know, a lot of the female jobs around the world are going to vanish soon. So I had a look around with playing around words on Google, and I found this. This is dated last year, a year ago, the fashion industry employs an awful lot of machinists. In fact, it says 60 to 75 million garment workers around the world are going to be replaced with something like that. It's quite an interesting article. It just shows how yet another area of work that women predominantly dominate in are going to be automated, and we're going to see an awful lot of women being unemployed because their jobs have gone. Are these machines going to make wedding dresses? I highly doubt it, because if MGTOW continues to grow exponentially around the world, exponentially, you know what I mean, then we're going to see more of this, because these were all made by seamstresses and there'd be no need for it. Anyway, I think I've gone on enough. As I said, I'll put all the links below. How are we doing for time? Nearly 20 minutes. That's good. Right, people, I have to dig a lot of stuff to find a few nuggets to present on a 10-15 minute video. Hope I've spoke quick enough. I'll do something about sex life of single men and women compared to the sex life of married men. I've also tagged it into a sort of tangent, something I've been thinking of, but until then, this next one will probably be next week or so. I'll have to think of what I've got to say. So that's it for this one. You know the routine: like, dislike, etc. And thank you for all the people that subscribe to this channel. I really appreciate it. I hope I can justify your faith in me. So until the next one, bye bye.